Welcome everyone to Client Acquisition and Scaling for web developers, SEOs, and marketing agencies. You are on the Monday Mindset with me, Lisa Parziel. And if you don't know, we do this every single Monday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Zoom. If you do not know about how to get into these or get reminders or that sort of thing, just go ahead and type Zoom or Monday Mindset or just any question in the comments here if you're here live. If you happen to be watching the replay or you are seeing it on YouTube, in the comments, if you'll just reach out, we'll reach back out to you and give you the information on where you can actually get signed up. If you are on YouTube, look in the section in the about more, whatever it is section down below, and you should be able to find the information there. We come here every single Monday to get our minds right, to get motivated and get in the right mindset to have an amazing, prosperous week in business. That happens on purpose, not by accident. So on Monday, when you can come in, plan your week, work your plan, you will find by Thursday, you've gotten so much done. If you're like me, you can take Fridays off. So with that, I will get started. Keep in mind, everything that you're seeing on the Monday Mindset is sponsored by Agency Fast Track. Agency Fast Track is the place where when you want to get your when you want to get your agency fast track, get unstuck, get on the right track to success, we have programs that can do just that. Check it out at agencyfasttrack.com. We're going to start today with a quote from Denise Morrison. And she said, if you want a CEO role, you have to prepare for it with a vengeance. The reason I selected that quote is because I know when I opened my business, I was the owner. I was the CEO. I was in charge. Unfortunately, I had not prepared for it. I was not ready for it. And I pretty much failed in that role for the first 7 or so years my company was in existence. As I started to prepare, as I started to learn, as I started to become a CEO in truth, not just in title, that's when my business changed. And today we're going to talk about that, about being the CEO. Now, in our world, in the Agency Fast Track world, we call it the CXO, the Chief X Officer. And we're going to talk about that today. So how many hours? That is what I asked. How many hours do you work on your business? Now, I know I send these out late on Sunday night. I don't give a lot of people time to answer. I get that. I apologize. I should probably send this stuff out earlier. But a few people did answer, and I didn't see one person say, I spend this many hours working in my business, and it was under 20 or under 30 or even under 40. In fact, everybody who did answer was 50, 60, 70, 80 hours. That's crazy, right? So now I want to talk about the differences of how you spend the time. If you're working 60 hours, if you're working 80 hours, what you do is probably causing you more work than you need. The reason you're working 60 to 80 hours is likely the same reason I was, because I was doing everything. I was wearing all the hats. I was being everything to everyone. And that just doesn't work. So for those of you who answered how many hours, I did not ask you to differentiate between the two. I'm going to kind of have you think about that today and start noodling that very thing. So let's talk about what we consider a CXO, a Chief X Officer. Remember, X stands for every single thing you want in life. So if you want it, you can have it. You just have to go after it. A CXO focuses primarily on the activities that create revenue, build wealth, and grow and scale the company. That's what a CXO should be. When I started my company, nothing was farther from the truth. I was not a CXO. I did not have a CXO mindset. And that's what today's Monday Mindset is all about. We have to change our minds to change our businesses. And in this case, we have to become CXOs. You can call it CEO, but I prefer CXO. You have to become this before things will start changing in your business. And I promise you, if you embrace the idea of becoming a CXO, your world will change, your business will change, and your time constraints will change, meaning you're not going to work as many hours, you're going to get more done, and you're going to make more money. So I'm going to just say it. I am the CXO now. I didn't used to be. Now I am. I only work on my business whenever possible. Does that mean I never jump in and still do the work? On occasion, I have to. Things happen. But I try not to, because it's not my job. Not because I'm above it, not because I'm better than it. Heck, the most important work that gets done in my company or by everyone else. The reason I don't do those things anymore is because they're not my job. I'm a CXO and I have different tasks that I'm responsible for to make sure we're all successful and the company's successful. So I only work on my business whenever possible. Like I said, I don't spend time on the day-to-day work. I don't spend time managing the resources or managing the projects. Instead, I spend my time focused on growth and revenue activities whenever possible. I spend my time building new lines of business, looking at new products. If we decide to bring on new products, cultivating those new products. For example, we are about to come out with the public version of Agency Fast Track Revenue System. It's a new course in Agency Fast Track. We went through with a founders group, and it has been so extremely popular and effective. I've never seen the results people are getting. So that's where I've spent my time. It's a new line of business for Agency Fast Track. It's a new course. It's also a new line of business. It started by being a new line of business for Portside Marketing. And I spend my time doing those types of things. I spend my time strengthening my core team. I don't speak to everyone on my team on a regular basis. I have core folks I work with, and those people are the people I focus on. And I spend my time trying to strengthen that team, whether it be, removing barriers for them, getting them what they need, helping them with any problems they might have. That's my job as the CXO. I spend time ensuring we have streamlined processes. Does that mean I put them all together? No, not necessarily. Our PM puts together a lot of the processes. Our SEO lead, he puts together most of our processes. But I have to make sure that they're there, and I have to ensure that they're happening. Again, that's my role, the overall direction of the company. And then I spend my time creating wealth for our company. In other words, bringing in more money or doing activities that will actually increase my profit margin. In fact, creating wealth. So that is the CXO. And that is who I've become in my company. Now, to be honest, boy, I started nowhere near there. And I probably was the worst example you could ever find on what to do. I was the best example you will ever find on what not to do, because everything you could think to do wrong, that was me. And it was, honestly, I came by it honestly. I had no experience in business. I had a lot of false beliefs. I had a lot of baggage. I didn't know how to manage my time. I just had a lot against me. Yet I still learned and matured, and over the years grew my business. So if you're there right now thinking, man, I've been doing this a while, or even if you've been doing a short time, and it's not what I think it should be, I challenge you to think about today's Monday mindset. Are you the CXO? And if you are, I guarantee you there's probably more you can learn to become a better one. If you're not, you obviously, want to work on becoming that CXO. So what's the difference? Well, for me, the reason why I struggled so much was because I was working in my business. I was in the day-to-day. I was a worker. In fact, I had a business coach tell me, Lisa, you just replaced your day job with another job. You just happen to own the company that you're working in. that was a big wake up call for me because he was right. I just had another job and I was doing it in my own company, which meant not only did I have to do the job, now I had to do everything else that went with it. So I had to be the CXO, the business owner, and I had to be the worker. And that's how quickly you go from, hey, I hate my 40-hour work job, to jumping right into an 80-hour a week business. So I was doing the work. I was doing the SEO tasks. I was doing the web design. I typically didn't do the logo design, but I was managing a lot of that work. I was doing the books and my taxes in the beginning. I was talking to clients. I was managing the day to day. Now, think about that. And then think about, where did I have time to be the CXO, to build revenue, to grow the business, to do more lead gen, to do all the other things that are required in a business? Well, in fact, I didn't have the time. So the only time I could make was nights and weekends and extra hours. And 40 hours turned into 50 and turned into 60 and then turned into 70 and then turned into 80. On average, I was working 80 hours a week in my business. Crazy. It's making a lot of money. I thought this was just how you had to make it work. Now, today, I'm not going to get into the particulars on how to fix all these problems. We have a program for that, and I highly recommend you reach out to me and talk to me about that program. If it's a fit, we'll talk about it. If it's not, that's okay too. But at the end of the day, I had to fix the problems, not in my business, in me. I had to fix me. I had to change the way I saw my business and the way I responded to my business. So instead, over the years, I started becoming the CXO, which meant I started working on my business. So now the type of stuff I do is I don't focus on the work. Instead, I focus on growth and revenue. It's a win-win because the people who work with our company depend on my company for their livelihoods. That's a great responsibility you have as you start bringing team members, whether they be contractors, FTE, no matter what they are. It's a great responsibility that you shoulder when you start doing that. So what do I do now? Well, first and foremost, I create and ensure their streamlined processes. I work to increase the lifetime value of our customers, whether working with them directly, indirectly, or through products. I work on increasing revenue, more money coming in. So now we're talking about lead generation and sales. I build new lines of business where I see them and where it fits. I create and cultivate a leader mentality in my team. That's a fun one, meaning I don't want just workers in my company. I want leaders. I want everybody who works with my company, all of my team members, contractors or otherwise, I want them to be leaders. I want them to be in charge of not only what they do in the company, but their lives as well. And then finally, I increase revenue, but in a way that decreases costs to create a higher ROI. So I'm focused heavily on finding ways to do things better, easier, more streamlined. So we're not doing more work, we're doing the same work, but we're doing it more efficiently, hence giving me more revenue, a higher ROI, without having to just keep adding more and more and more customers. Now, I'm really taking all this and I'm putting it into, I don't know, for lack of better terms, a very easy, simplified, 20, 30-minute talk here, because that's what we do on Mondays. We're just here to motivate you. We're just here to pump you up, get you ready for the week and make you more productive. So this week can be a very good week for you. There's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot we have to learn. There's a lot we have to do. But you do it the same way you do everything, one step at a time. Sometimes the hard part is knowing which steps to take, right? Where to start first. Remember, CXOs work less hours. I don't want you to work more hours to make this happen. I want you to work less hours. And I know right now you're thinking that's an oxymoron, Lisa. There's no way I'm going to be able to hire and train and replace myself and do this and do that and do the other and work less hours. But actually, that's not true. There is a way. And I know the way. I know the path. Not only have I been down it, but I've helped countless other agency owners go down that same path. So I asked before this Zoom session, how many hours have you worked in your business each week? 20, 40, 60, 80? If you did not answer on Facebook, if you're watching a replay, if you're here live and didn't answer, go ahead and type it in. Put it in the chat, put it in the comments. Own it. Don't be embarrassed by it. You know how many people wouldn't even try to work that hard, wouldn't even try to build a business? You should be proud that you're doing it. Now the goal is simply to do it better, to make it work for you in a better way, right? Now that you have this information, now that you're exposed to it, and many of you have been exposed to this over and over, but sometimes it takes a minute to sink in. With me, it took years, by the way. Now I want you to, if you've put it in the chat, if you've put it in the comments, how many hours, now I want, and you can do it privately. I just had someone ping me privately and say, I'm working 80 and it sucks. I get that. Now I want to know, out of those hours that you said, 20, 40, 60, 80, whatever it was, how many of those hours currently do you work on your business, right? Because that number should be the greater of the two numbers, right? Meaning if I'm working 20% of my time on my business and 80% in my business, you should be working towards flipping those and eventually getting to about a 95 to 100% working on your business, not in your business. You have to start somewhere. You have to start small. So keep that in mind. This is not something you change overnight, but guess what? We can change our mindset right now. We don't even need overnight. We could change our mindset right now to say, you know what? I get it. I understand it. And I'm now going to work towards it. Recognize it won't happen overnight, but recognize it has to happen. If you are a solopreneur right now, just you, the one person doing everything, you will never be able to scale up your business or decrease your hours and expect to make more money. When you become the CXO, not only do you work less hours, but oftentimes you make more money. That's what happened to me. And I wish I had this. I planned it when I did it. I did not. It came to me very slowly. It was chiseled into my brain by some business coaches and mentors. When I finally had that aha moment and got it, my business soared, right? I'm trying to help you skip all the chiseling if you can. So my tips today, what I'm going to leave you with takeaways, what hopefully you can take away from this today and implement right away. How can I work less hours in the business? What's the mentality I need to get? Okay. Couple of things. First, you have to not only understand your business needs investment, but you have to know it. Like, I have to invest in my business. I have to invest in my business. You've been investing your time. That's what we as entrepreneurs do. We invest our time. Oh, we put hours upon hours in. But we have a hard time parting with our money, right? Because we want to make more. We don't want to spend more. But you have to invest. And when you invest, you actually get more returns on your money. So when you think about it, when you invest by hiring somebody to help you do the work, that means you have doubled the amount of time that you have available. You can take on double the projects without working double the time. Will you make as much profit? No. But at the end of the day, there's only so many hours you could and should be working. So step number one, hands down, you have to understand that your business needs an investment. You have to invest in it. You have to set aside some dollars, right? You also need to invest your time wisely. Just putting in time will not help you succeed. Doing things for the sake of doing Ask yourself, every single day, do I need to be doing this? Is this the most important thing? Is this the most impactful thing in my business? When I realized this, when I finally had my aha breakthrough with a business coach who helped me understand that I had to have a project manager. I literally in my head made that mental decision that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go look for somebody. And it's interesting that something manifested for me, like a project manager literally manifested itself to me. I made the mental and emotional decision I was going to do it. And literally within like 3 months, somebody had reached out to me and is now my project manager and one of the most amazing people I've ever worked with. So I had to think about my time. I could not keep doing everything and I needed help and I needed to bring on others. That's investing your time wisely. The time spent hiring and training is more valuable than the time spent doing. Another idea is you have to reinvest money back into your business. When I said, hey, your business needs an investment, you're thinking, where do I get the money from? If you make $2,000 on a project, set aside $500, put it in a kitty, put it in a little account somewhere and set it aside. The next project, you make $2,000, put $500 away. Dang, you now have 2 months worth of salary for a part-time VA to do web work, maybe even a full-time VA, depending on what you're looking for. That's how you can reinvest back in your business. Now, in our program, and you do know I mentioned the programs, in our program, we actually have in one of the weeks where we show you exactly the plan on if you were to make money and if you were to invest it. I actually show you how you could work the same amount of hours, hire people, and make more money. We actually do a calculator. We show you the entire process. Now, I love calculators. There's tons of calculators and examples like that in my program. Why? That's what it took. That's how I consume data. That's how I was able to go, oh, I get that. Oh yeah, that makes sense to me now. So that's the way I project it back to you guys. So once you start reinvesting back in your business, you're going to replace the jobs you do in your business with other people. If you do a lot of web design, your first hire should likely be a web designer. If you're spending 60 hours a week, 40, 20, 30, I don't care what it is, you can get someone to do the same work at a fraction of the cost of what your time is worth. And if you don't think you're worth a lot, you definitely need our program. The reason being is because your time is best suited for going out and getting more work, increasing value, growth, and revenue. Right? That's what a CXO does. Then when you replace the time, maybe the first couple of weeks, just take some time off and go, whew. But then the time that you can replace over and over again, when you get down to a reasonable number of work hours, you want to start only focusing on those CXO tasks. You want to take any saved time you can, maybe give some back to yourself, and then give some to the CXO tasks, lead gen, sales, revenue, growth, training, etc. But the number one tip I can give you this week, the number one thing is stop doing the work. Stop. And I know this topic comes up a lot, and we talk about it at least once every 2 or 3 months. It's because everyone falls into this trap. It's time to stop doing the work and start building a better mousetrap. If you feel like the 60 and 80 hours is working for you and feels great, I guess keep doing it. If it's not great, go back and watch the replay of today. It's not a ton, but it's so impactful. It was for me. It's the things I had to hear. It's the things I had to learn, the things I had to focus on to help me make the transition from being overworked, tired, and frustrated and almost quitting my business to now having most of the summer to where I get to enjoy it and spend every weekend doing what I want. And weekends to me are 3-day weekends, and have my nights to myself because I'm working reasonable hours. That's the key. And that's my message for you today. Now, if you're struggling with this, if you're not sure what to do, If you've seen, we just launched a new live version of our program, and we don't always do it live, but right now we're in a live. We are only 2 weeks into a 12-week program. I highly recommend just schedule a strategy session with me. I offer this quite often to you guys. I'm not on there to sell you, and you can ask others. I do not go on there and try to sell you a dang thing. I'm not there to do that. What I'm there to do is see where you're struggling in your business, help you put together a plan, right? And in 30 minutes, we can do that, and then get you on the path to becoming the CXO. If you ask me to tell you about our programs or show anything, I will. If not, I don't say a word. It's truly a free session for you to help you. I highly recommend you get it. If you've never done one with me before, schedule it. If you have, and it's been a while and you're still not in our program, schedule another one, right? Fortunately, I am a CXO. I have plenty of time on my hands, so I can do these with you guys. The link is on the screen. At the end of this, I will go ahead and post it to the chat. I'll also post it on the replay. So if you are watching the YouTube version, you will be able to get that down below. So don't forget to do that. You can schedule that strategy session right now. Go to that link and you can schedule it right away. Okay, we're going to end with a quote. Nobody knows how to be a CEO. It's something you have to learn, and it's a very lonely job. Ben Horowitz. Now, why does Ben say that? Because there's not a lot of true CEOs out there. It's lonely because you're at the top. It's lonely at the top. You've heard the saying. The cool thing is, in our programs, in our world, in our communities, we are all striving to be the same thing. We take the lonely out of it, which I absolutely love. I need this community as much as you guys do, because it is a very lonely place to be, just being the CXO, being the CEO by yourself. Nobody knew how to be it until they learned it. And the same is true as you. You can become that person, earn more money, work less hours. Okay, if you want to get on the fast track to success, don't forget to check out agencyfasttrack.com. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I hope this has motivated you, got your mind in the right place this week so you can go out and have a prosperous, productive week. We do this every single Monday. It's usually a 20 to 30 minute call. This 20 to 30 minute call is just really meant to pump you up and motivate you. Remember, guys, you have to change your mindset to change your business. I will see you back here next week. Have a prosperous and amazing week, everyone.